In today's deep dive, we're going to take a deeper look at how tendons relate to the muscles that they attach to. So what you have in front of you here is the calf muscle. So this is going to be gastrocnemius, and then if I reflect that back, you can see what's called the soleus muscle. Now, both of them are actually going to blend into and attach to the calcaneal tendon. That's this massive thing in front of you, but most people would just refer to this as the Achilles tendon. Now, this is made of, as is all tendons, tons and tons of collagen. And if you look closely, you might even be able to see the collagen aligned in parallel rows going up and down. And that's actually helpful to us to define, how anatomists would define this tissue. Anatomists would call a tendon dense, regular connective tissue, meaning that there's lots and lots of collagen. Regular, because all those collagen proteins are going in the same direction, and then connective tissue just tells you that it's a connective tissue, right? But it's pretty descriptive. But what's cool about tendons is that they don't just attach to the muscle here. It's not as though it's like you only have muscle tissue and then all of a sudden it turns into a tendon. Instead, what you're looking at here, this tendon is a continuation of the connective tissue that is inside of and surrounding the muscle itself. Every single one of the muscle fibers, all the muscle cells, are wrapped in collagen. And then you take those muscle cells and you bundle them together in these honeycomb-like shapes called fascicles, and that's wrapped in collagen. And then you bundle all of the honeycombs together and you wrap that in even more collagen, and it's officially now a muscle. I just want you to understand that every one of the muscle cells are just wrapped and wrapped and wrapped in collagen fibers. And then what happens is as they're traveling with the muscle cell, well, all of a sudden the muscle cell stops, but the connective tissues continue. And they become the tendon. So you could almost think of as the tendon as just like it's emerging from the muscle cells itself. Or maybe not inside the muscle cells, but around the muscle cells. And then what happens is they continue down, and then the collagen blends into bone, because something that many of you may not know is that bone tissue also has collagen in it. So what happens is the tendon will come down, and in the case of the calcaneal tendon, it'll insert, surprise, surprise, at the calcaneus or your heel bone. But the tendon doesn't just like wrap itself around the bone. No, the tendon literally blends into the bone. It becomes part of the bone. So think about this. This is how muscle contraction is then going to work, right? So as the muscle cells contract, all the proteins inside of there contract, the connective tissue that wraps them moves with it. And since the tendon is actually a continuation of that same connective tissue, the tendons move. And then as the collagen from the tendon is blended into the bone, that causes the bone to move, which means the joint is now going to change the degrees of which it's shaped, and you now have movement at a joint. Skeletal muscle activity is so unbelievably cool. But I hope you enjoyed this week's deep dive. I will see you next week.